your brother. Today I'm going to be sharing with you basics of breathing, and then it will lead to what we call full yogic breath, okay? And this is broken down into three pieces, three different types of breathing, and then we will in the end combine them and have the biggest, fullest breath that you can ever have. And I'm not talking about hyperventilation here, I'm just talking about just one breath. And this is kind of like the etude of pranayama, of breath work. Like when you start to play an instrument like a guitar or piano, there will be a lot of boring exercises that you need to do somehow to develop a foundation, okay? So here it's also about breathing, and normally you're advised to do these techniques separately for 1 month until you get good at it, and then you can combine them and move on, okay? So it's up to you. I'm going to leave it up to you, but I'm going to teach you everything within this frame in this video, so you can come back to it or just get what you want to get from it and then start practicing. So the very first technique is, you guessed it probably, it's the belly breathing. So when we inhale to our diaphragm is a muscle underneath our lungs. So when we inhale with the diaphragm, you see my belly is expanding, and when I exhale, it goes back and in and up. Okay, so I want to isolate this belly breathing. This is the first thing I want to do. This is the first technique. And why is it so good? Because the belly breathing actually is the normal, natural way of breathing. When you look at animals or when you look at children or babies, they breathe into their bellies. Or when you watch an adult person who's sleeping, for example, the normal, relaxed breathing is the belly breathing. It's the most economical breathing because you really don't need to show a lot of effort to inhale into this part of your body, and you use the maximum capacity of your lungs. For example, there's also this tight chest breathing, right? And you use your upper part, the middle part of your lungs, where you have to show an effort to move your rib cage. Okay, so in this one we are not going there. It's kind of lazy breathing, right? But it's very effective. So it also relaxes you very much. If you can switch to deep, slow belly breathing during lovemaking, it will help you tremendously with relaxation and taking control of everything. And it will also give you enough oxygen that you need. Sometimes it's not going to be enough, but that's another subject. We're going to talk about it separately. So how to practice this thing? Ideally, you put one of your hands onto your belly and the other one on your chest, your thorax, to make sure that your thorax, your rib cage is not moving, to be able to isolate this breathing. Okay, so I'm erect, my belly is relaxed, and just my belly is moving and my chest area is completely stabilized. A better way to practice this technique is actually laying on the floor, the mat. I'm going to demonstrate it for you. Just bend your knees and put your soles of your feet to the floor. And again, you can put one of your hand on your chest, your thorax, and on the other one on the belly, and make sure you isolate the breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. My right hand on the belly is moving with my belly. My left hand is entirely stable. Okay, now let's switch to the thoracic breathing, which my belly is not moving, so my right hand will be stable, and my rib cage will be moving to the sideways. I'm going to show it when I'm sitting as well. So here we go. Well, it's a much more shallow breathing. It's a much more smaller breathing, and it's faster because you don't have a lot of capacity in this type of breathing. So why would you do that? First of all, to learn, to become aware. Okay, so because in daily life, when we are tight, when we are stressed, most often we breathe very shallow, and we breathe to the top of our lungs, like only the middle and the higher parts of our lungs, and we do the thoracic breathing. Okay, like this. To consciously practice this breathing is very much common in the Pilates world, okay? Because Pilates, he taught this technique as a way to breathe in whole the Pilates series, and the reason for that was to completely stabilize your core. You know, like your core muscles are actively working, and when you're breathing with the diaphragm, your spine changes position, so it's not perfect for his contrology, what you called his technique initially. So when you're doing a Pilates workout, you're supposed to breathe in this way. This is just a side information, but let's practice this, because remember, in the end, we will build up our breathing. We will create the first belly breathing, and on top of that, we're going to put the thoracic breathing, and on top of that, we're going to put the third part, which I will explain a little bit later. So what would you do if you want to excel at these techniques? Is first you take 5 minutes to just belly breathing, then take another 5 minutes just to thoracic breathing. And how to do that? Again, you put one of your hands on the side of your thoracic rib cage, and on the other hand on your belly. And you breathe just to your thoracic part. And your belly is not moving. Your hand on your belly is stable. And your hand on the side, you can put both hands if you want. And your rib cage is expanding a little bit when you inhale. And when you exhale, they're getting back to their initial position, okay? What you can do is you can slightly push your thoracic cage, your rib cage, to its place when you exhale. Now push gently. Good. Not too tight, not too hard. Push gently again, just to feel the movement, the expanding of the rib cage when you inhale. Again, put the other hand on your belly. Make sure the belly is isolated, not moving. So you got the idea. You just need to practice more and more until you get it. So these are the first two types of breathing. And the third type of breathing is what we call clavicular breathing, where we inhale to the top of our lungs, to the clavicular area. And that's even more limited capacity of breathing, but still we can utilize that part to have a what we call full yogic breath, okay? Full yogic breath. So to demonstrate it, I'm going to just add it up at the end where I do a full yogic breath. So how I do it, I first inhale to my belly, and when I feel that I can't breathe to my belly anymore, I add up the thoracic ribcage breathing, and then when I feel I can't breathe it anymore, I'm gonna try to push my shoulders up a little bit and take 3 short breaths to the top of my lungs, okay? So here we go. First, I will start with an exhalation to relax. And then here we go. I get so much oxygen with that, I can hold this breath for a minute easily. Okay, so this is the next step actually in the full yogic breath. You hold the breath. You hold the breath. You apply a kumbhaka. like a retention of the breath. Of course, this is just a very basic thing, and then we will do pranayamas and kundalini yoga in the future, where we have this foundation first, okay? But still, this is going to be useful to you. I'm going to demonstrate it a few more times and then explain to you why it's so useful in daily life or in your bedroom. Oh, I feel so great. I can hold it quite a long time, but I need to be able to speak with you. Okay, one last time I'm going to show it to you. You see, the belly breathing is taking longer time. The thoracic breathing, when it comes to there, it's much shorter breath, and when it comes to clavicular, it's even shorter. Because, like, let's say 50 to 60% of our lung capacity can be utilized by the belly breathing. Around 30% or maybe more, 30-35% of our, no, it's not 35, like maximum 30% of our lung capacity can be utilized by the thoracic breathing. And whatever is left out, we're gonna try to fill up to the 100% by a clavicular breathing. So one last time I'm demonstrating. Just exhaling and letting it go. So when you're having sex, when you're tense, when you're close to the point of no return, when you need to slow down, chill out, or stop, if you take a full breath, maybe you don't have to do the clavicular part, take as big a breath as you can, but follow the order. First belly breathing and then thoracic breathing. And optionally, if you can have a little bit clavicular, but you don't have to go there. During sex, it's already very complicated. So just take as much as a big breath and then hold the breath as long as you can. This holding of the breath, which ideally you can push up to 1 minute, if you're practicing these things daily, easily you can push up to 1 minute, will give you tremendous control. You cannot ejaculate when you're holding your breath. Try it. Try it. You know, like when you're holding your breath, it's impossible to ejaculate. You need to like let go of it and then start going back to hyperventilation, like intensive breathing. Then it will trigger you to ejaculate. So this will bring you a lot of control and awareness and lucidity. You know, like, whoa, what's going on? What am I doing here? Oh, okay, I'm fucking my beautiful lady, but I'm about to come, so I want to give her more pleasure. So, okay, I take more control. And what you want to do right after that, when you hold this breath, as long as you hold it, as long as you can, you held it, and then you exhale with a control, not exhale like whoosh, like very quickly and you like a balloon, you just left everything. Try to control, exhale control in a controlled way, like you're blowing off a candle, like gently, and then you do an Uddiyana Bandha, which I haven't taught you yet, but it's an amazing sublimation technique. So what I did was I exhaled gently and slowly, but towards the end I pushed it. I pushed all the air out and I emptied my lungs completely. And when I'm sitting, or I can be on a missionary position, you know, like ideally I'm like in doggy style or something, like I am on top or I'm in control, I'm not laying down. Maybe even you can do it when you're laying down as well, when you are experienced. So you just empty your lungs completely and hold that breath as long as possible. Okay, I'm revising it. First thing, you realize you need to control, take a big breath, as big as you can. Second step, hold that breath as long as you can. Third stage, exhale and control, but towards the end, push all the air out. And fourth stage, hold that breath as much as you can. And optionally, if you know what is Uddiyana Bandha, you can do Uddiyana Bandha in this, also help you to move the energy upwards, okay? So I hope it has been useful and I'll see you in the next video.